Achieving a grade 9 in OCR GCSE English Language is so much about practice and giving the examiner exactly what they're looking for. I'm going to show you how to do this precisely within this video, this time focusing on question 3 from paper 2. There will be a new, quite tricky extract for you to ponder, past pupil paragraphs, model answers and analysis of model answers. Watching this video will increase your chances of that top grade. Stay tuned and watch Schofield on Shakespeare. Let's start with the text taken from Mary Elizabeth Braddon's delicious 19th century novel Lady Audley's Secret. As a general rule, the more you read, think about your reading, get ideas from your reading, the more likely you are to snap up that top grades. And look at this, you can order the full book now on eBay from just £2.34. Why not treat yourself? A warning, this text isn't that easy. You're going to need to read it really carefully, perhaps twice, before moving on within this video. Each section will appear at 5-second intervals, so press pause now to get reading. The question. Look again at lines 18 to 42. Explore how the writer uses language and structure to show Sir Michael's thoughts and feelings about Lucy. Support your ideas by referring to the text using relevant subject terminology. A few reminders. Number 1. Make sure that you don't just unpick quotations in splendid detail. Also make sure that you're focused sharply on the question, i.e. you explore Sir Michael's thoughts and feelings about Lucy. Number 2, ensure that you use a range of quotations across the extract as a whole. Number 3, unlike in paper 1, your analysis of both language and structure needs to be integrated. So rather than having a completely separate paragraph on structure, I would include the word structurally mid-paragraph after exploring a language point. Number 4, when writing about structure, you're likely to reference some of the key terms on screen now. Ready to have a go at writing your own response to this question if you haven't already? The extract is about to reappear on screen at 5-second intervals. Grab your pen, press pause, but remember you're only exploring lines 18 to 42. One of my past pupils wrote this paragraph. What do you think about it? Explore how the writer uses language and structure to show Sir Michael's thoughts and feelings about Lucy. The writer shows that Sir Michael has not as much love and passion compared to Lucy. This is clearly shown through the quotation, Lucy, Lucy, speak plainly. Do you dislike me? The adverb plainly shows that, contrasting to Lucy, Sir Michael has a clear and simple approach to love. The question, do you dislike me, shows that he clearly has not as much emotion and believes that love is not needed for a happy couple. Press pause to discuss. There's a clear misunderstanding of the text here, isn't there? Yes, Sir Michael may not be behaving as passionately as Lucy, but we are told in the italicised introduction that Sir Michael wants Lucy to marry him for love. Also, look at the mournful last sentence of the extract. He must be contented like other men of his age to be married for his fortune and his position. In other words, he feels devastated that his romantic ideals have been crushed by Lucy's open admittance that asking her to love him is asking too much of her. The misunderstandings persist, understandably perhaps, through the paragraph. When Sir Michael asks Lucy whether she dislikes him, it is not that he hasn't as much emotion, rather that he is instinctively and desperately trying to persuade Lucy still to marry him, even though his romantic ideals have now gone. Another past pupil wrote, "The phrase 'walk straight out of the house' is repeated, highlighting the significance of his hasty exit, showing how he had left his feelings for her all behind. In line 24, Sir Michael quotes 'Lucy, Lucy.' The dash and repetition of her name suggests that he feels nervous while confronting her due to his hesitation while speaking. What do you think of this? Press pause now." I'm afraid there is another key error here. Sir Michael has not left his feelings for Lucy all behind, and indeed the pair have just got engaged to be married. Sir Michael says that he sees no reason why they shouldn't make a very happy couple and asks Lucy whether it is a bargain. She says yes, and then he kisses her. It is clearly not quite right to say that Sir Michael has left all his feelings for Lucy behind as he walks straight out of the house. Indeed, we are told that there was some strong emotion at work in his breast. This needs to be explored in far more perceptive detail. That said, I do agree that the dash and repetition of Lucy's name shows Sir Michael's nervousness, but also perhaps desperation. Here's a third past pupil paragraph for you to mull over. From the beginning, it is already clear that Sir Michael has strong feelings for Lucy, considering the vast amount of detailed description there is of her and her simple actions. Her features are described as pale and great blue. I'd assume this extract is set in the 1900s, as it's mentioned that he loves her despite her poorer background, and only back then was it abnormal for people in different classes to marry. Therefore, her hair being described as pale suggests he finds her attractive, as in Elizabethan times, women who were very pale were thought to be the most attractive. Her great blue eyes glittered. The use of the adjective great shows he's been looking at her eyes a lot, and probably finds them appealing and pretty. This is backed up by the fact that they glittered. Thoughts? Pause, please. This starts better. Sir Michael does have strong feelings for Lucy. However, there is an overly simplistic conflation between the narrator and Sir Michael when this pupil argues that the vast amount of detailed description confirms Sir Michael's strong feelings. Yes, the narrator tells us that there is something in Lucy's manner which fills Sir Michael with a vague alarm, but the descriptions of Lucy appear to be narratorial. She is still on the ground at his feet, crouching, clinging, her great blue eyes glittering, rather than representative of Sir Michael himself directly marvelling at her mesmerising beauty. It's also worth thinking about the mark scheme here, as the pupil makes some very simplistic points about the context. Context is not assessed in the mark scheme. We're only assessing AO2, exploration of language and structure. And so these sentences should be cut altogether. One more, dear chums, pupils, viewers and subscribers. However, the baronet's disappointment was also shown. The repetition of "he walked straight out of the house" shows he wanted to not Lucy again at that time. Missing word there shows the importance of proofreading. Not wanting to be reminded of the hurt he received inside. He felt as if he had carried a corpse in his bosom. This simile suggests that his love was now dead as the bosom is where the heart is and the noun corpse shows the end of Lucy's pure love, which he had hoped was not for his status. Structurally, the phrase, all the doubts and fears and timid aspirations were ended now, shows the end of all the emotional excitement that came with love, and the three nouns describing that, doubts and fears and timid aspirations, are linked so quickly to show the intensity of love, which only makes the end sadder. He now must be contented to be married for his fortune. The use of the strong verb must shows he is forcing himself to move on, to find a new happiness after the disappointment. What do you think? This is better still, isn't it? Some insight into Sir Michael's disappointment, his hurt, an attempt to explore the simile referencing a corpse. It's also clear that the pupil wants to explore both language and structure, although perhaps the analytical comments, these nouns show the end of all the emotional excitement that came with love, is a little general. But at times the phrasing could be more precise and the analysis more detailed. And so it must be time for my complete model response. Sir Michael is clearly unsettled by Lucy's overly emotional, passionate behaviour and doesn't fully understand her. The first part of the extract refers to an undefined something in her manner which fills the baronet with a vague alarm. He knows that he loves her passionately, yet such unconventional wildness, she is crouching with her hands clutching at the black ribbon, worries him without him being quite sure why, hence the adjective vague. Structurally, Sir Michael's uncertainty about Lucy's feelings for him is emphasised through his rather desperate questions. Do you dislike me? And, but is there anyone else whom you love? Such questions imply that Sir Michael feels as though the only barrier preventing Lucy from agreeing to his marriage proposal would be the existence of another loved one and personal dislike for him. Thus this passage shows his insecurity around Lucy, someone who clearly captivates him partly due to her beauty, her thin white dress clinging, great blue eyes. Sir Michael's later speech in line 30 confirms how he is so desperately in love with Lucy that he is prepared to marry her even if she doesn't love him. He refers to himself self-deprecatingly as a romantic old fool, before littering the second part of this sentence with negative constructions. If you do not love anyone else. Structurally, these consecutive negative constructions confirm how his confidence has been shaken by Lucy's inexplicably wild responses. Her strange laugh jarred upon his feelings. The verb jarred suggests that he has been unpleasantly shaken by her unconventional response to his marriage proposal. It was certainly not what he was expecting. In the final paragraph of the extract, Braddon refers to a strong emotion at work in his breast, neither joy nor triumph, but something almost akin to disappointment. The sentence is structured to build up to the anticlimactical noun, disappointment, whilst it is again clear that Sir Michael cannot yet understand his own responses. However, it is true that this vague sense of disappointment is weighing him down. Hence the adjectives heavy and dull, as if he had carried a corpse in his bosom. This simile is disconcerting and utterly unexpected following a marriage proposal, which surely should provoke images of joy and life. The reference to the corpse suggests that he feels burdened by Lucy's lukewarm, ambivalent response to his proposal. His heart has been stunned metaphorically to death by his new fiancée's response to his passionate love. This response is 415 words, and this is a good figure to aim for if you are typing and still have the word count on, but of course you won't be able to have this word count within your exam. What makes this 12 out of 12? Well, there's a super detailed, precise focus on the question within the very first sentence. There's a wide range of carefully chosen embedded quotation, some analysed in detail, some satellite quotations used simply to demonstrate an exceptionally detailed understanding of the extracts. Notice that my analysis of the effect of structure is A. Signposted, Be detailed. I point out in my second paragraph that the consecutive negative constructions confirm how Sir Michael's confidence has been shaken by Lucy's strange responses. Note the use of subject terminology and a vocabulary broad enough to make really precise, insightful points. Notice how analysis of both language and structure is detailed and integrated. First, there's a structural point about the way the sentence built up to an anticlimax. Then there is the close analysis of the adjectives and simile, heavy and dull, as if he had carried a corpse in his bosom. This has been a Schofield on Shakespeare production, giving you those key ideas to help you get the highest marks for Paper 2, Question 3. Think about what's required. Look again at my model answer. Many thanks for watching Schofield on Shakespeare.